All right, welcome to another mini BTP. That's a mini Beyond the Pod, where we just tackle one topic. I'm Brandon Mileski. He's Pat Micheletti. Pat, our topic today, who's going to win the Stanley Cup, the Vegas Golden Knights or the Florida Panthers?
Boy, you can make a case for each team, can't you? You
Yep.
have the Florida Panthers, the ace seed overall, the re-emergence of Bobrovsky and net, the Matthew Tkachuk story. There's so many storylines on Florida. And then you have Vegas. Probably, I think, their best team that they've had in the history of their existence. I like Vegas in this one, although, you know what? Florida just thinks they can win. So it'll be fun.
Yeah, I mean, to your point, Pat, when you get to this stage, like there's not a lot of weaknesses and flaws,
No.
right? I mean, if you've gotten through this far, like there's not a lot for us to dissect and point out. I think Vegas probably has more depth, more scoring depth.
No doubt.
But then you look at Florida and you could say, well, Florida probably has the best goalie in the series. Bobrovsky's been unbelievable for a stretch here. And maybe the best player in the series if Matthew Tkachuk can sustain what he's done through the first three series. So I like Vegas. You know, Vegas will roll four lines. Their defensive depth is pretty good. They're going to be able to get scoring from everywhere. And the question is, can Bobrovsky and Tkachuk keep doing this?
Well, that's the key. And here's another factor. They believe that they can win. They believe that they're going to win the cup. And that is built upon beating Boston and then moving on to the second round and into the third round, and their confidence and belief in each other. They think they're going to win this thing, and they have no fear, and they're playing with zero fear. So I agree with you. I think Vegas's depth and their size, their strength up the middle. The one question, you and I talked about this going into the series or going into the playoffs, was, can Vegas's goaltending hold up? Aiden Hill has been just fine. Hasn't been great, but he's done the job.
He's been quality. He's been good enough. And who would have thought that before the playoffs started? And heck,
right.
he didn't even start the postseason for
He's
them.
Goalie number 5, Brandon. Number 5. You know, because Logan Thompson gets hurt. Brousseau goes out. Jonathan
Leonard.
Quick. Or he's number 4. I'm sorry. I thought 4 or 5. There may have been another one.
Robin Leonard.
Oh, Robin Leonard. Yeah. So he's number 5, really. And
crazy.
So, good for him.
Well, and you look at the run that Florida's been on, Pat. Barely squeaked into the postseason to begin with.
Right.
Down 3-1 to Boston with Game 5 in overtime in that first opening round series. Brad Marchand has a breakaway as time is expiring in regulation, and Bobrovsky made an unbelievable save. They could have been done then. Reel off 3 in a row against the best team in the history of hockey from a regular season point standpoint. Then to take down a pretty darn good Toronto team in 5 games, and then sweep the Carolina Hurricanes. Yeah. And Pat, this was a conference that was by far the better conference this season. So
no doubt.
What is that? 12 of 13, 11 of 12, whatever they've won here in this stretch against very good teams. My concern with Florida here is they have been on a heck of a run. They've had a lot of momentum, and all of a sudden you're off for 9 days in a row.
Yeah.
Because they're starting this round not even till Saturday. We're talking on a Wednesday here. They're not even starting till Saturday. Can you keep that momentum going after 9 days off? That's going to be challenging.
Well, people think, the rest is good. At this time of the year, the guys want to keep on playing. They get their rest. They're playing on adrenaline. I think it's something to keep an eye on. That's for sure. We'll see how they come out. Yeah, they'll be fresh, but they'll be fresh in terms of their energy. But will they have that bite in them that's been carrying them throughout the whole playoffs?
Well, I tell you, if a game's in overtime, they're going to have the belief in them. At least you know that. I would like to get your opinion on, Florida is really strong on the forecheck. They get in, they get physical, put a lot of pressure on opposing teams' defense. Does Vegas have bigger, stronger defensemen, maybe give them an edge in that area that previous opponents of Florida doesn't have?
Well, I think they do. And I think the way that they defend, they don't. I mean, if you watched any of that Dallas series, Dallas had a hard time getting in on the forecheck, and that's because of the size and the forcing in the neutral zone, and they had a hard time getting speed and getting into the zone. I think that's going to be a challenge for Florida, but there's no question. I think Vegas's defense has really been one of the keys for them in this playoff run.
All right, your official prediction.
I have Vegas in five games. Yep. I just think they're too strong up the middle. I think they're tough along the boards. They have a great mix of speed and size. I think their power play is really, really good with Eichel, Stone, Stevenson. I just think they have a little bit more. I think it's going to be a fun series, though.
And they're disciplined. They don't commit penalties.
Yep, no doubt.
I picked Dallas to beat Vegas strictly off of I thought they would have the better goaltending situation.
Yep.
I don't know if I can go that route again because Florida, I think, will have the better goaltender here. But I just think Vegas is the overall better team, and I do think the long layoff here is going to have an effect on Florida's momentum. So I'm going to go Vegas here because I think they'll get an early edge early in this series.
We're on the same page.
All right, thanks, Pat.
Thanks, Brandon.
He's Pat Micheletti. I'm Brandon Mileski. This has been another episode of Mini BTP. Thank you for joining us. Bye.